Hi, this is Jonathan Hartig of J Squared Food, and today we are going to make a very special meal. So, my brother and his fiance are getting married. Congratulations, Danny and Gabby. And we unfortunately can't have a very large wedding because of COVID and the situation going on. So, we are having a very intimate, family-only wedding outdoors, and I will be making us a special dinner. But you can follow along with this recipe, which I'll explain all the steps, make it very accessible, so you can recreate it at home and share some of the magic of their wedding day. We'll share it with you. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is grill our corn and lemons, which will be for our delicious side dish. We're making a pistachio and coconut crusted salmon over a bed of a roasted corn, cherry tomato, avocado salad, lemon honey vinaigrette. Cilantro is delicious. The first thing we gotta do is grill our corn. If you don't have a grill outside or whatever, that's totally okay. There are a few different options you can do. You can roast your corn over an open flame if you have a gas stove, just until it chars, which is great. You can boil your corn for like 3 to 4 minutes in salted water, and then cut it off kernel like that. Or you can even use frozen canned corn, but I feel like in the summer, corn is really fresh, so I want to use fresh corn. So this is all you're doing. You're taking the silk and the husks off of the corn. I'd say you probably want about 1 ear of corn for every 2 people you want to feed. But this is a great recipe, and the salad lasts for a while, so you can have it with a sandwich, you can have it, even toss it with some pasta or some chicken if you want during the week. So don't be shy about making that over. Just washing off some of these silks because we want that in our dish. We just want the corn. Just take your corn, put it directly. I'm using a grill pan. So you can use a plancha, you can use a grill on the side, however you want to do it. Just get that chisel as it goes on. Alright. That looks great so far. So let's just clear up our mess a little bit so we can clean as we go. So I'm also going to take some lemons and grill the lemons. This doesn't do that much for the lemon, flavor-wise, but it'll give it a little bit of charred flavor of the fish later, and it's also beautiful for garnish. So, just throw those on there as well. And you can just let this go for a little while. The corn will take probably about 12 to 15 minutes. Alright. While our corn is going, we can get our fish ready. So I have some beautiful salmon here, skin on, because I think it's moist and really great to hold them and get crispy. We're preheating the oven 400 degrees. You can use, so at the wedding we're actually going to eat this with mahi, but I feel like salmon is more accessible for most people. But you can also do it with any sort of meat fish. You can do halibut, you can do even a cod maybe, you can do a swordfish if you have some. You just want something that'll stand up to the crust. So you want your fish to be shiny a little bit and brightly colored. When you smell it, you don't want to smell a superficial smell. Superficial means that it's going bad. You want it to have a little bit of a briny smell. And that means you have good fish. Fresh. So we are going to make our crust. So for our crust, we need a bowl to mix it up in. And we're also going to blend it up a little bit. So this has a nice mixture of nuts and coconut and garlic. You can give my corn a little swirl. You can substitute this if you don't want to use pistachios. You can use walnuts, you can use almonds, you can use no nuts if you want. You can use like pumpkin seeds or edamame seeds. But for this, I'm going to use pistachios. So you can shell them yourself. Totally fine. But I think, why not buy already shelled roasted pistachios? Comes in these little pieces. So delicious. But I'd say like maybe half a cup. So we put our nuts in, and now we also need to flavor this a little bit. Putting in some garlic. I know, Steve doesn't like garlic. I like it garlicky, but you should use at least 4 cloves, whole cloves, to get distributed around all the fish. And it's going to give it a nice flavor for cumin. It's really going to be good. So this also needs some coconut. And coconut has protein and it's pretty good flavor. It'll give you that sort of summer vibes. This is just already flaked, unsweetened coconut. I wouldn't use sweet just because, you know, fish comes there. And then need salt. Always need salt, a good pinch, I'd say about a tablespoon. And some black pepper. And about a teaspoon. And give it up. You know what this would be? This would be really great if it had the blade in it. Now once you put this in, now put the cover on. You can do, I'm doing this in the food processor, but you can do this by hand if you want. Just like take maybe a rolling pin. I'm just going to put the corn again. See the corn is starting to char a little bit. What you want. Just keep cooking. And so you can do this, you can do it by hand, just rolling pin, give it lots of wax. So it's going to pulse it. It doesn't need to be a little shimmy shake. Give it another little shimmy shake. Doesn't need to be super fine, but we want it sort of like little pebble-sized pieces. I'll show you. This is the texture we want. Alright, so now that we have this, pour this bowl. Alright, so we are now going to take our fish and we're going to put our crust on our fish. Now, you might think the fish is oily enough to hold the crust by itself. And you're probably right. And if you were going to do a spice crust or something like that, you could totally skip this part. But we're doing a heavier crust with nuts and coconut, and we don't want it to fall off, and we want it to stick really well. Plus, we're going to add a little flavor. So, we are going to give our salmon a little bit of a glue layer. Now, even though we have skin on, you still want to season the skin, and you want to season the flesh. So, just a little salt. That's about it. Add it in a little bit. This will also help the skin crisp up a little bit in the oven. You can totally do this on the grill or on the pan if you like. I think the oven helps the crust really build nicely. So I just put some parchment paper on a sheet pan. Parchment paper prevents it from sticking, and it's going to save all of your pans. So here it just has some Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard is a little strong, but it has usually a little bit of white wine in it. This one has some herbs mixed in. Just not too much, just like a dollop on each one. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint our salmon, or whatever fish you're using, with the Dijon. Just so that it's like about an equal layer all over. See how that looks nice that looks? I'll finish making it and I'll show it to you so you can see what it should look like. Not a super heavy layer, thin layer. You can do this with mayonnaise if you like, but this will also help you explain what it looks like. This will also help you keep it more flavoring. Even more flavor. So now that we've done that, we should start with our wonderful crust that we both built. Start putting that in. So just sprinkle it over the top. Don't worry if some of it gets on the sides. It's totally fine. You just want like a nice layer all over. Pat it in with your hands. If you're worried about getting fish smell on your hands, I wouldn't be super worried with salmon, but if you are, you can wear gloves. You know, I have gloves I wear usually when I'm cooking for clients. I always wear my gloves, and it really helps any sort of stains from spices getting on you, and it also helps you from getting any sort of odors on your hands, like garlic, or fish. Just pat this in on the sides. Wherever you want, it should be nicely crusted, but it doesn't need to be super covered. And a nice wash. So, always wash your hands with soap and water whenever you're handling. I mean, not just meat, but fish as well, I think. So this is nicely crusted. I'm going to put it here for a minute. And before we put it into our preheated 400-degree oven, I'm going to just put a little bit of olive oil all over the top. This will help with the browning, and it will also help with keeping it moist. And then give it a little sprinkle of salt. Do it from above because it'll spread more evenly. And now, our salmon is ready to go in the oven. See you in 15 minutes. Okay, so now we are going to make a pesto for as a condiment for our fish. What is a pesto exactly? You've probably had it at an Italian restaurant with pasta, or maybe you had it with tomato-based mozzarella sandwich. But pesto can be so much more. It's a condiment, it's a seasoning, it could be a sauce. It's not cooked, which is why it's so easy. So we are going to take the rest of our nuts. You can use pistachios again, but walnuts, fine. You can use traditional kind pesto is pine nuts. I think this is delicious. I did the same thing where I forgot to put the blade in, so I'll take this off again. And put the blade back in. You can do this with a mortar and pestle. You can do this again in a mini food processor. You could potentially even do it in the blender, as long as it has a strong motor. So our nuts, we're going to put more garlic. I like a really garlicky pesto, but it's your choice. You're also going to put a half a cup of, this is Pecorino Romano cheese, but a lot of recipes use Parmesan, but Parmesan is expensive. So here it goes. Then we are also going to put in our, if I can find it, you always need some sort of green or herb to make it a pesto. Otherwise, it's just, some sort of a relish. So, for this, I think, let's do something light. So if we're doing something light, we're using arugula. And the arugula will also give this wonderful bright green color on the top. So let's say put about 1 or 2 cups. You can be a little more heavy-handed with it because it'll blend. Trust me, it'll get much smaller than this. So, we're going to start. This looks like a lot right now, but it's going to get smaller than this. Alright, so give it a pulse. Alright, while it's going, we start drizzling in some olive oil. You put the olive oil in just until it comes into a loose paste. Good to me. Let's see what this looks like. Perfect. See? It's going to be super green and very herbaceous. And let's give it a little taste. Does it need anything? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tie some flavors together. I'm going to put some lemon zest in this. So for lemons, you don't just have the lemon juice, right? You have the zest. Where the skin, the yellow part, the zest has a lot of flavor, filled with all these essential oils. And so we're just going to start zesting this lemon. I'm using a microplane, which is like a mini grater. It's really good for zesting lemons, or if you want to like shave, or sort of like zest chocolate over dessert. So you see how this yellow is coming out? It's this yellow part. So just wipe off the back. It's only the front side that's sharp. And also gonna take some of the juice. So they'll just brighten up, it'll really play nicely with the peppery arugula and a punch of strong flavor from garlic. Alright, give it another. Give this a taste again. So good. Let's put this into a bowl here. I'm going to save it later. It's going to go with our fish. But this is also delicious on pasta. I made a version of this pesto and I served it on a pizza with peaches, ricotta, and balsamic. I mean, summer is so great for all these different fresh flavors. Here's our pesto. See you later. Alright. This out. So, now, let's make our salad. So, salad's going to have a lot of really great flavors. It's going to have the corn that's been cooked. I just turned the heat off on that. It's charred enough. It's going to have some avocados. It's going to have some cherry tomatoes. Really good. So let's start by putting in some red onion. So this is a red onion. Just going to chop it in the middle. Off. Chop off the end, mix it. The peel. Perfect. Right. And we're gonna chop the other end off. And when we're chopping an onion, we want this diced, right? So we don't want to cut all of it at once. So we're gonna cut it just on one side, almost to the end. Okay, then we're going to cut perpendicular, almost to the end, just maybe like quarter of an inch size, and then when we cut from the top, have diced pieces. Oh, don't do that. And you fold it over, do it again. Chop. So we have just sort of just a pieces to sort of break apart. Okay. Now we have the red onion. Next up, we do our cherry tomatoes. So I got these little cherry tomatoes that come. The thing you can buy some larger heirloom tomatoes if you want. Use that. That's fine. These are good. And then I'm just going to use a smaller serrated knife for tomatoes because if you try to use a chef's knife, which is more of like a regular flat blade like this, so I'm just finishing up the last of my tomatoes, dreaming about this giant tomato sandwich. And it's okay if you don't get every single one. You don't need to leave a little hole if you want. You can use larger tomatoes. Just don't use tomatoes if you can. They work in sauces, they work in chili, they do not work in fresh salads. Trust me, I once tried it, I thought, oh, this will save me so much time. It was not good. Although it sometimes works in salsas. Not pico de gallo, but if you want to make like a salsa for like whole beef tacos or like guacamole type, that works. So we're just gonna put the rest of our tomatoes in here. And there we are. Give it a nice toss. And just use your fingers. The sweetness of the tomatoes will start to loosen up, so to speak, the harsh flavors of the onion. So we're gonna put this away from it. And next up, we're going to get one of our stars of the show, our corn. So look how good our corn looks. Yum. So let me show you how I cut this. You can do a butt pan method. You can do the, over a kitchen towel method. I just think, get a cutting board that has space on every side. Make sure that you trim off the very bottom of your corn. Okay? And then just start cutting it. Alright, so I'm just trimming the last of my corn. And see, I'm going to use my cutting board right here. Now, add this whole nice bowl of my veggies. Give it another quick toss. Yum. I think I'm going to find a bigger bowl. It's quickly filling up. What happened? So, there you go. Come back and use it for serving later. But even just like this salad would look delicious. Yum. But we're going to do something else to it. So you're turning off the heat in the oven, by the way, because smell that it's done. Been in there for about 15 minutes. Let me show you what it looks like. Nicely cooked, browned. So just leave it on the counter or on top of your oven. Take it out, let it sit there. As it sits, the crust will form even harder shape, and so it won't go anywhere. Like pesto mix. All right. Now it's time for the avocados. So, you may know avocado. You can use it for avocado toast or guacamole. We are going to put this in our salad. So, give our knife quick rinse. Just take your knife, start slicing it in half. If you're gonna hit the pit, that's fine. Go and rotate it around the pit. So you cut all the way through. Then you get to your end again, you twist it around, and there you go, perfectly cut avocado. Then you take your knife, put it into the pit. You want to do this with a little bit of strength, and then you can twist it out. See? Pit, goodbye. Now, you can keep the pit. Some people say you put it in guacamole, it'll keep it green. Sometimes. But I don't really feel like I need to do that. So, just take your spoon, put it inside of the avocado, and just run it all the way underneath, all the way down until the whole thing pops out. You want nothing left in here. Do that with all your avocados. I'm using 3. You can do more. You can make this purely avocado salad. To the avocados, now just put them down flat on the inner part and cut them just into cubes. That way they'll mix nicely with the rest of the salad. You also want to do this last for the salad components because you don't want to mush the avocado. So we're just going to put these into a bowl, and every time we put some avocado in, let's put a little bit of lemon juice on top, okay? This is just, let's toss it a little bit. This is just so that they stay nice and bright green. Alright, just finishing off my last avocado here. These are nice and soft. sort of cut through them almost like butter. Alright. A little more lemon juice. Give these a nice toss. Leave them separate for a minute while you make your dressing. So, this is the last part of our dish. Aren't you excited? We're gonna make salad dressing. So exciting. So, you can use a little food processor again. You can use a whisk. I use a mason jar. Why? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little hipster. It's just easy to me. So, we're making a very simple lemon cilantro vinaigrette. So, what you need, the first thing for lemon cilantro vinaigrette, cilantro. This sort of looks like parsley, but the stems are shorter and the leaves are a little rounder. So, we just want leaves. Just cut off maybe like half a cup. Now, you can chop this up. You can put it in the food processor again. You just want this small, so I'm just going to give this a very rough cut. You can also buy, they have now these, there's like little herbs in pastes already you can find in your produce section sometimes, usually like organic. They have cilantro, they have lemongrass, they have parsley. Those are fine. I like those a little bit better for sauces. I feel like with fresh herbs, you want the fresh like leaf flavor, you know, it releases oils and the flavors is delicious. So we don't need this super fine because it's gonna mix throughout our salad. So we're just gonna put this into our mason jar. All right, also in here, we are going to put olive oil. I'd say about, what's nice about mason jars is you can do it on the measurement stuff. So I'd say about half a cup. You can always change later. Alright. Then I'm going to give a nice about a heaping tablespoon of Dijon. It will echo the flavors that are on the salmon, and it will also be really good emulsifier. So we are also going to squeeze our lemon. We need about the juice of maybe, I'd say, 1.5 lemons, maybe 2 lemons, depending on how much juice you have. And then you also want the zest of 1 lemon. So stick her off. Nobody wants that in their salad. You just want the yellow part. That's where all the essential oils are. So you don't want, once you sort of hit the white part, stop zesting that area because that's the pith and it's very bitter. That's enough. Okay. Alright. Some on the side, I'll put that in there. Now cut it and squeeze the juice out. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. It's okay. It happens. Alright. This can be your new quarantine workout. Squeezing lemons. And one more. Ooh. Alright. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And I like to add a little bit of mint. Just some dried mint. It gives it a little bit of an unusual flavor. The last thing is some honey. About a teaspoon of honey. Alright. Put the cover on, or get a whisk, or however you want to do this. Do a shake and shake. And, so that's all mixed together. Taste it now for seasoning. Let's use the back of this. That tastes good. And now we're going to add our last ingredient, which is some, I'm using champagne vinegar. But you can use, red wine vinegar is great. Apple cider vinegar is okay. you want, I think something like a lemon vinegar or white wine vinegar or something is the best. But red wine vinegar is a good substitute. White wine vinegar is okay. No, sorry, not white. White vinegar, white plain vinegar is okay in a pinch, but it might be, the flavor is often very greasy. And I think for a salad like this, you want something a little bit softer. If you were doing like a heavier salad, maybe with like apples in it or other vegetables, that would be fine. But so once I get this open, start putting in some vinegar. Say about a quarter of a cup. That's about right. All right. Give it another mix. Now, give it a taste. It really has a bite from the vinegar and nice herby flavor from the cilantro and nice acidity from the lemon. This is perfect. So now we're going to take our salad. The corn is still a little warm. We're going to add our avocado in. And we're going to put a little bit of our dressing. Don't overdress your salad. You can always add some more later if you want. And we're just gonna 2 spoons. Give it a nice toss. You don't want to bruise the avocado. You just want it to be nicely mixed in. Corn and tomatoes and the avocado and the red onion and just go from all sides towards the center, from the bottom to the top. This looks so good with all the different colors of the yellows from the corn, the purple from the red onion, the reds and the oranges, and the tomatoes, greens from the avocado, take a handful of cilantro, just do a garnish on top. Let's give it a taste, shall we? Super fresh, super delicious. Alright, so I'm giving you a preview of what it would all look like served up. Here's our beautiful roasted corn, cherry tomato, avocado salad. See all those delicious mix-in onion, a little bit of our cilantro lemon vinaigrette, our zesty, herbaceous pistachio, arugula, pesto. Yum. Here's our coconut, pistachio crusted salmon. It's had time for the crust to really set. Our grilled lemons, which are beautiful garnish or drizzled over. Yum. And here it is all plated up. Look how festive that looks. See crust and pesto on top. Yum. So enjoy. Let us know how your turn turns out.